Well, good evening, everyone. I'm back again tonight. I was just about to go to sleep, and I checked my news one last time. Lo and behold, found out Alex Murdaugh is still breaking the rules, still in trouble, and this time, his lawyer Jim Griffin is involved as well. So the documents I have are 2 incident reports and 2 letters. The first one is from the South Carolina Department of Corrections, dated today, August 30th. It says, inmate Richard Alexander Murdaugh has been convicted of 2 internal disciplinary charges, abuse of privileges and unauthorized use of an inmate's PIN number. He had a disciplinary hearing for these charges on August 28th, and he lost his telephone and canteen privileges for 30 days. If you'll remember, there were some phone conversations released between him and his brother Randy some time before the murder trial. At the time, other inmates were letting him use their accounts so he could get extra items than the normal allotted amount. So he continues to do those kinds of things, but this time it actually really breaks rules. So what rules did he break? The charges involve providing information to be delivered to the news media for an interview and also using a fellow inmate's PIN number to make a telephone call. These charges violate SCDC's inmate interview policy and our policy against inmates sharing PIN numbers. They are not a violation of law. So it's broken rules, but not broken laws. So what did he do? He provided interview information to his attorney through a legal call. Legal calls are not recorded or monitored on the inmate phone system per attorney-client privilege. Attorney Jim Griffin recorded Murdaugh reading the information and provided it to the media. So these calls are supposed to be specifically for his legal team. It's not just so he can conduct interviews. And we're talking about 2 attorneys. Both he and Jim knew better. When information reached the department on August 8 about the interview, Murdaugh's tablet and phone privileges were immediately revoked, pending a review of the incidents. After his phone privileges were revoked, Murdaugh used a fellow inmate's PIN number to make a telephone call, which is prohibited by our policy OP 2214. So not only did he get in trouble for doing what he shouldn't have been doing, then he goes and compounds it by still doing it but using another inmate's PIN number. The department has sent a letter to Murdaugh's attorneys explaining that their conduct is prohibited by policy and warning the attorneys of the consequences. Inmates in the custody of the South Carolina Department of Corrections are not allowed to do interviews. SCDC's interview policy is rooted in victims' rights and is long-standing. The department believes that victims of crime should not have to see or hear the person who victimized them or their family member on the news. Inmates lose the privilege of speaking to the news media when they enter SCDC. Tablets are designed and secured for correctional use. They are considered a privilege. The department will determine when and if inmate Murdaugh will earn the opportunity to be issued a tablet again. The good news is we won't have to keep seeing these pictures. Now, the first incident report was dated August the 14th at 12:15 p.m., with the date of the incident being August the 9th. So what happened? It is redacted, so it takes out the name, for example, of the warden. So I, Warden Blank, was reviewing phone calls on August 14th. On August 9th, at approximately 2:25 p.m., a call was made to, name redacted, by inmate name redacted, PIN number. On the call, I recognized the voice of Richard Murdaugh and then gives his number. Inmate Murdaugh stated he is using someone else's PIN number because his is not working. He knew exactly why it wasn't working. The second incident report is dated August 15th, which is the same date of the incident. This one says, on August 15th, 2023, I, Warden Blank, received a report from the Office of the Inspector General regarding an interview conducted on August 9th at approximately 1:30 p.m. by the Inspector General regarding reports that inmate Richard Murdaugh participated in an interview with Fox Nation for an upcoming documentary entitled The Fall of the House of Murdaugh. During the interview, inmate Murdaugh's attorney, Jim Griffin, stated he conducted an interview for the news media, which he recorded and provided to the production company. Inmate Murdaugh willingly and knowingly abused his telephone privileges to communicate with the news media for his own gain. Just earlier in my video today, I mentioned this documentary. It will be the first time that Buster has actually given a sit-down interview. It's that same documentary. Now, I really have questions as far as any kind of reliable information that we might glean from that. If this is the way they conduct discovery for their documentary, I don't know about that. I'll probably still watch, but with a guarded feeling for how truthful the information might be. It also makes me think that it might be sympathetic to Alex Murdaugh instead of his victims. And the last document is a letter to Jim regarding recent internal disciplinary infractions of Richard Alexander Murdaugh. As you are probably aware, your client was recently convicted of an internal disciplinary infraction related to your June 10th, 2023 telephone conversation with him, where Mr. Murdaugh was reading excerpts from a journal he maintained during the Colleton County trial. In our Inspector General's interview of Mr. Murdaugh, he indicated that you recorded those journal entries and provided them to the media. Inmates in the custody of the South Carolina Department of Corrections are not allowed to participate in interviews of this nature. Your actions, whether you intended or not, assisted Mr. Murdaugh in violating our policy and could jeopardize your telephonic communications with him in the future. Attorney calls are provided to assist with legal claims, not for other unrelated purposes. I am hopeful that this letter will put you on notice and caution you to refrain from further actions of this nature. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Please do not hesitate to contact me or our general counsel should you have any questions or need further clarification. So Alex was keeping a journal during the murder trial, and he is providing the notes from that journal through Jim Griffin to this media outlet, Fox Nation. Unbelievable. What people won't do for a story. So yeah, it really seems like this is going to be sympathetic toward Alex. And I got to thinking, Jim knows this is wrong. Why would he be willing to do this? And then I thought about all of these things that they have presented before the court as a means to get paid, wanting to tap into different resources of Alex's, trying to say, well, this money's clean, that money's clean. Can we tap into that for our lawyers' fees? So far, it's been a hard no to every single proposal. Perhaps, this is just my thoughts, perhaps this is Jim and Dick's way of coming up with a way of getting fees paid, since the court does not allow Alex any access to his money, even to pay his lawyers. Perhaps they were getting a really big paycheck from Fox Nation. I wonder how we could find out about that. Anyway, have a good night all. Until next time, this is Cassidy O'Connell saying stay well and stay tuned.